it's nice out here. So I'm going to finish off the book, a critique of this very bad book, White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. Bad in terms of lacking logic, bad in terms of what it exhorts people to do, and finally bad because it has been influential. Okay, Ms. DiAngelo and a few other authors in the last 4 years have instilled a whole industry. Okay, an industry that's now called DEI. It's estimated at $4 billion of spending by corporations that are afraid not to spend and get their employees, well, they want to make sure their employees are woke, that they cross the checks so that they have passed some test. It's going to be a changing test because no definition, as I've seen, has been made to take hold. Ms. DiAngelo starts chapter 10 with another untestable thing that she says she can't give white people feedback on whites' inevitable and unconscious racist patterns. Now, if they're unconscious, how does she know? Because we don't even know if we're doing things unconsciously. If they're inevitable, then why even write? Why even write the book? Because we will not be able to change. Now, it does get her some seminar action to talk about it, but it doesn't sound like we're going to be able to change, especially with her presumption that all whites are inherently racist in the first place, and that comes in multiple places. Now, nevertheless, Ms. DiAngelo craves feedback. She writes about this multiple times, and in chapter 10, she's looking for feedback from us. She says it requires trust, which is going to be hard because somebody who can't be trusted is not going to be candid in their feedback. Nevertheless, I will give feedback from my position as someone who has encountered, at least knowingly, encountered almost no racism, almost no nationalism that is detrimental. Okay, so there's been some characteristics of Judaism that I've been exposed to. Some are playful, some are hateful, but these are spoken by losers, okay? These are spoken by people who are not going to be influencing America. So I have some built-in experience that she may or may not want to hear. This is mine, that we are beyond race. We are trying to stay beyond race, and but for silly notions that come from leftists, we would be beyond it. I know this because I know history, that recent American history has, for the last 50 years, improved race relations and almost eviscerated differences. At the 3, 4, 5-year-old level, they're gone. Okay? Kids don't even recognize it. When you're in your 80s, yes, there's some remnants of, well, blacks were in this class before and whites were in this class before, and it's hard for them to be reconciled. Short of those 80-year-olds steeped in that, we don't have it anymore. We have had, for 30 years anyway, a majority of white people naming a black American as their most admired person, okay? Colin Powell, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Barack Obama. I mean, that spanned over 20 years right there. And though I haven't seen surveys lately, I'm pretty sure Patrick Mahomes, Oprah Winfrey, Michelle Obama would be high on whites' list right now for most admired Americans. Is there a white supremacist worldview? She mentions this on page 129. It's minor. It's almost completely over. The little remnant that some might have is that Western culture was largely shaped by white people, but their whiteness was irrelevant. And every race, every nationality can and pretty much has taken advantage of the benefits of Western culture. That, I don't think, is even a supremacy or superiority, unless you want to talk about a superior culture, which I do believe that the Western civilization has. Racism, she says, has benefited her as a privileged white woman. I believe that classism holds far more sway. Let me go back to Condoleezza Rice, who I mentioned last chapter. She rose above her normal station, okay? Alabama black girl from the early 60s, to Secretary of State, not because of race or not because of race, because of class, okay? She was the child of two professionals who pushed education on her. She played piano. She attended a top-notch school, and with it, higher class, irrespective of race. If instead of Robin DiAngelo looking at white, black, brown, yellow, instead looking at class, where there remain differences, for good or for bad, but class explains almost everything about discrepancies that are often attributed to race. I'll look at some of those in the next chapter. I am Mark Stewart.